Welcome back to FFB, amigos. Today we got a bit of an update, weekly update with some long-term issues and a lot of crazy stuff happening at Chelsea right now. So please subscribe if you still love Chelsea and you're supportive during this tough time. We're in this together. No matter what happens, let's keep the conversation going. Let's start with Noni Madueke. Out for 4 weeks, guys. This is a big one. Everybody was complaining that Noni was running into legs. Well, he was at least active. Now there's high concern with Mudryk out, with him out. What it's going to look like. It probably looks like Pedro switching to the right-hand side. Tyreek playing on the left if Sancho's out of form. So it's kind of a big impact. We're already struggling with some injuries, and that potentially moves Pedro and make him more important, which people have been talking with him for a 9. But we're going to get more into that because we have this upcoming game against Villa, which is very crucial. But however, people are talking more about the game against Southampton. Why? Because we have a protest coming. Now, some people are complaining at the club saying like it's all these content creators and YouTubers that are sort of influencing it. But in the past, that's failed, as we heard our friend Matisse say, for example, that when they tried to organize some protests before, they had like 40, 50 people showing up. This time it looks like a bigger deal. The problem that I have is that I don't think it's going to have an impact. I don't know how many people show up. It's going to matter. People, the club cares about PR, especially this club cares about PR. It's one of the factors that they look in. As a board, there's a little bit of concern when there's unrest. But, you have United, which is heading towards relegation slowly. Let's hope not. Although, that'll be interesting. So they're protesting, and so are Spurs. I don't know. Seems like they're protesting too. So that kind of makes it like a Premier League wide thing. And I think it takes a little bit of the impact, which I was hoping it'd be a little bit stronger. But speaking about that, let's get into it. First thing I want to say, speaking of all the YouTube creators, first, shout out. I'm a huge fan. All of you guys that inspired me. I'm still a small channel. I'm getting off the ground. I have like under 60 videos under my belt, and I'm still building my skill and building my crowd. But I'm really happy. And those of you that inspired me, like Matisse, like the OG Benson, which they credit to them, where they had a video together this week speaking about the protest, and they seem to be on board. I'm not trying to start a revolution. I've been one of the ones, if you guys listen to my videos, one of the most understanding, trying to explain to fans that this is a corporate play, that we're in a corporate environment, that the owners are following KPIs. Go back and look at that video from the last update. I think you're going to enjoy that. There's a lot of explanation, but I did make a case as to why we're failing in that aspect, as well as we're not doing enough to protect the brand and sustain the brand value over time. If you become a bunch of losers that never win trophies for years on end, then that hurts the brand long term. Problem was that if the Premier League as a whole, and Chelsea as a brand as part of that Premier League, still grows in value, they'll still be able to recover and probably, meet all their KPIs and get their returns by being a mediocre team. Insert Spurs, which may be the case, or Brighton, which our directors have said in the past, one of our executives, how amazing they are, how they are a profit machine, and they do better than expected. So they're saying that we're not expected to be in Champions League this year. So I guess we can live, between 8th and 5th and still be profitable. And that makes it. So we're not on the same page. And I made a case about like LVMH brands. You guys go and see that video, which is interesting, which I think Chelsea is one of those very valuable brands that need to be protected. In any case, these guys were making a case for going, but I was sadly disappointed. But please follow them. And I was sadly disappointed with Josh Avesta and Joey Knight, especially Joey. He was backtracking for a long time. Well, follow the guys. They're amazing. And it's so fun to watch them banter on their show when they're both together. I'm a huge fan, and I'll continue to follow them and be with them. They're awesome. But, I felt that they backed out a little bit. They've been talking crap for the longest time, and now they're saying like, I don't know, I'm not supporting, but not supporting it. If you're in London and you're a Chelsea creator and a Chelsea fan, and I'm not questioning you're not a Chelsea fan, I'm just saying that you are now in a leadership position, both you, Josh and Joey, and you have a responsibility to your fans. And those of us that are overseas that would kill to be there, go to the protest. I'm not saying throw rocks or do anything crazy like that, but go show up, talk to people, get in touch with those fans, not just on your chat room. You have the opportunity to go and to be there, and get in touch with that and find out what's going on. It doesn't mean that you're right. The protest is unclear. It's not, some people are not sure what they're protesting against, but we know broadly what it is. And hopefully we'll get smarter as time goes, and we know that it's blue coat. It's the whole thing that we wanted to sell. And yeah, you're probably right. It's not going to happen, but we're really hoping. Matisse was always saying that that the Chelsea fans will have to be aggressive and try to, maybe not show up at the stadium and stop buying merch. Well, maybe you would have to buy the ticket and not go, though. You have to buy a lot of the tickets and not go, because right now, with Vivid Seats and all this, the hospitality world is huge. And I'm telling you, because I even pay for the membership of the club. If there's a year where I can travel to England, I'm going to make the matches. But when I can't and I haven't been able to, and I go there, the hospitality world's enormous, and the tickets are so expensive, but people still pay for them. So you may have a stadium full of tourists. So we got to be careful with that one, Matisse. But yeah, absolutely. So the protest is happening this upcoming Tuesday, even though we're playing Villa. I'll make a video about that game separate that we can talk about. But we're playing this Tuesday, February 25th against Southampton. So we're speaking more about that, which means Chelsea fans are so concerned with the overall situation in the club that it's not that it doesn't matter, but even if we win, which doesn't look hopeful for us, and I'll get to that. The team we're going to play even bought Marcus Rashford, which is not even a thing that we could even conceive of. And they got Marco Asensio coming in off the bench. Even though they're in a tough spot, they have a good coach and it's a good team. But it doesn't even matter. We're not even concerned with that. Like, the process is still on for February 25th. And I'm kind of surprised. I'll see if I'll find some imagery. And Benson shared some. George Benson Football Club. Follow him too. He's pretty cool. About the protest and inviting people to the protest. So I'll have to look at that. So, to all these executives, wouldn't get into it in a little bit, but the protest is coming on February 25th, whether you like it or not. And I don't know what that's going to mean, but I hope it means that there's a little bit more listening. I don't think there's much to do, to be honest with you guys. Just let them know how upset we are, and maybe they'll value the brand a little bit more and the fans a little bit more. But I think we're too deep down a certain rabbit hole with the financial model that we set up and the way we expended that cash and the way that they're managing the company club, that there's not going back. But I feel really bad. The sad part about this is that I get all the players are stuck in the middle of this. And it's funny because we're not upset at the players. Of course, during the game, when we see a lackluster performance or an FA Cup tie, that we wanted a lot more cojones and a lot more fight. I'm still seeing Palmer try. And of course, Caicedo is always there. I just feel they're both getting a little bit tired physically and mentally. But we wanted a little bit more fight. But other than that, we can lose. We can lose if we're fighting. And that goes across the board. I don't feel bad for Maresca in this situation, because I don't know if he's doing it because he's being like super professional and following along with the board, but just saying downright nonsense that I've gotten into other videos. I won't waste too much of your time on that one, but absolutely a lot of nonsense in his videos. And there's been a lot of talk about, Caicedo and Palmer, especially Palmer, if he might leave Chelsea if Chelsea doesn't get Champions League football. And I think that could be the case for Caicedo as well. It's just, players that deserve to play Champions League will play Champions League. End of story. Somebody's going to come in and make that payment. Maybe not this year if we're lucky, but maybe. And who would blame them if they leave if we don't have Champions League football? In any case, we're showing a lot of weakness in leadership and understanding of the Chelsea DNA. Again, another video they made for that. However, now I think it's time to talk about the board of directors, the owners, the executives, high-level executives at Chelsea, because I think that's what the protest is about. The others, like I said, seem to be caught in the crossfire. So, like I said, to all of these people that I'm going to talk about, we, the Chelsea fans, will see you next Tuesday, sirs. Speaking to you. Todd Bowley, the mastermind behind the 4-4-3 formation. That's one too many players, Todd, as you know. That was funny when that happened a long time ago. And actually, the 12th player on the field, the 12th man, is the Chelsea fan. And that was the one that will see you next Tuesday, Todd Bowley. And we'll be visiting the Stamford Bridge, hopefully to see you there and let you know how they're feeling a little bit. With the All-Star game and the relegation being a whole thing, like you can learn so much from relegation. Wanted training to be open, like if it were like spring training of the baseball teams in the U.S., which is madness. We have people killing each other in soccer that don't allow to, keep close trainings and drones. The trouble Bielsa got in to try to spy other teams is like a huge thing in football. Never understood. But in any case, see you next Tuesday, sir. Baghdad Iqbali, nobody's saying you're a corporate raider or a vulture capitalist. Um, I'm not sure what that influence has been very positive in the club. Again, I think it's corporate. None of these guys' fault. They're investors. They're corporate monsters, and they didn't bring much to the table. I think in terms of football, and I just think they should have known better to bring subject matter experts in that understand elite legacy in terms of football club. Well, we'll be see you next Tuesday, Mr. Ekbali as well. Jose Feliciano Boricua. Papo, ¿usted qué sabe de fútbol, man? So, again, nobody's saying you guys are locust investors or corporate cannibals. But the billions spent in assets weren't spent wisely. They were spent in assets that hopefully would grow in the future and bring success in the future, but financial success and not titles now. Without understanding, like I said, there's a huge lack of somebody's not making multivariate analysis because they're telling us that they have all the data analytics behind all these decisions. But surely you understand that all those players that you projected growth for when you saw, based on the ones that you saw the projected growth and value in the market from, were players that learned from senior players. So I'm not sure how somebody skipped those 2 or 3 variables in this multivariate analysis that you should have done when scouting. In any case, see you next Tuesday, sir. Jonathan Goldstein, that was in Bloomberg interview recently that I saw. Quite funny guy. I mean, I'll see if I can bring up the interview. All smiles and great. Things are great. Maresca's awesome. And I heard that he's a Spurs fan. Really? See you next Tuesday, buddy. See you next Tuesday, sir. And then when Stanley and Stewart, again, from here to the bottom, I don't think it's much their fault. Really, these guys down to Maresca, they're brought in to do a job. I think they're doing the job that they brought in to do that I mentioned before. But, they're coming from Brighton and Monaco and Red Bull and, feeder clubs. That's the reality. Feeder clubs with feeder club mentality. And I think you'll do a great job. I think Cole Palmer could easily go for, over 100 million come the summer. And we'll have done the job. And we might be financially stable by doing that. And especially if we can fork out some of these all-profit young guys that we're bringing through with all the holes that we have. Surely they're going to play. We might have to bring in the very young players to come in and play as well. So who knows? We can flip them for, like we've seen it. You bring somebody in, you have very young players, as long as they wear that Chelsea shirt once, you go from maybe a couple of million to, over 10, 15 million. We do that enough, we'll flip some profit. Then, these people all took a Champions League winning team. This was not too long ago, 4 years ago, a Champions League winning team with elite players, semifinalists in World Cups, World Cup champions, Kante, Kovacic, Thiago Silva, monsters, great team, strong win, but beat Madrid, beat City. Somehow spent $1 billion, which part of their agreement was that they needed to spend it. But again, they didn't spend it based on winning and extending the club. I think Bowley, that's what his intention was. But we see a little bit of change of the plans there halfway through. And somehow we're worse. And every transfer window that they told us we'd get better, I think we got worse. I think that as a team, I think the players played a little bit better, let's say, from the beginning of Poch to the end of Poch. But you guys keep forgetting this. The end of Poch, the beginning of the season, I see it as one thing, and Maresca reaping the benefits of some of that work that was done and players reaching a nice little patch of form. And now we're in these challenges that we have. But in the case they came in, they spent all that money, not too wisely. They fired everyone, including this Jose Calvarro guy. I don't know if you remember, but it was like the physio, and everybody freaked out because everybody adored physio. They say even some grounds people. All the stuff that I say is culture and DNA. Got rid of Peter Cech. Okay, Marina Granovskaya, that's fine. He was like a Roman person. But all these other people that believe in had in the DNA, they're just gone, 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 gone. And they even had to bring that guy. I heard maybe not true. Don't take my word that they wouldn't have the players would fly him back, so this physio could help him or medical guy. A lot of this change that you see when there's a corporate takeover happened, and it's not good for football, and we haven't been able to come back, and we're losing our DNA. That's kind of the main thing. And we hired a championship coach, so we have an inexperienced board. One of these guys put himself in charge. They don't know obviously what they're doing. They brought in people from feeder clubs, and they brought in a championship coach. Like, it's a brilliant idea. All those things, what do they have in common? Projection, that there was going to be a projection that all these people would improve, but I don't know how they're going to improve, who they're going to learn from, as we've discussed before. So Chelsea DNA kind of bit lost. They said 4 windows. We're now in 5 windows for transfers, and it's really not working. Captain James, I didn't feel you when you were asked. He said, we're taking it game by game, but I heard actually Malagusto say, yeah, we're fighting for top 4. We got to fight. And that's one of the things that you guys need to start changing your language and your attitude. If you lose and you fail, está bien. We can live in that world, but you're busting yourself, you're busting your ass, you're really trying. And that's what we want to see on the field, and that's what we want to hear from everybody. And I think that's going to change pretty soon. About the ownership, let's see what we get. A change in mentality. Again, I don't know much. We're kind of stuck in that system. But a lot of these players don't even know, talking about top 4, what the Champions League anthem sounds like in person. By that, I mean it. Like, some of them are so young, they didn't have the opportunity. They came from other countries even to be in person in the stadium when that music comes on. And fools like me just well up watching our team play the Champions League. And, I want them to know, and they deserve to know. They came to know. All these players that came, do you think Caicedo came to Chelsea for a 5-year project? What are you talking about? He came for a 1 or 2. He came in to back in for N'Golo Kante and hopefully a couple of more signings, and they were coming in to fight for the title. Like, Chelsea is not supposed to be fighting for top 4. We're supposed to, when we fail, remain at top 4. It's like our floor is the 4th spot, and we're supposed to fight in the 1st spot. In the years that we fail to do that, we collect FA Cups and League Cups. We're super proud. The fans, we love silverware, and we're very kind fans. We're fans that don't mind playing what others would call shit football or pragmatic football or parking the bus, whatever it takes to win. Remember that, all of you fans. And now we got to be tough. We got to be resilient. Let's go ahead with this protest. If I was there, I'd be supporting you guys, and maybe next time I will be. Just keep it peaceful. Keep it nice. Keep it, safe. Chelsea and Stamford Bridge need to be a place where families and people could feel safe. You can still be aggressive and passionate for your team, calling for your owners. Just be organized, be smart. We're going not after the players. We're not going after the coach. They are who they are. They play what they play, and we got to support them no matter what. Make your message heard. Hopefully we'll make some changes. And that's the update for now. So again, no matter what's happening off the pitch, we got to stay focused on what's ahead. I will be making a video for the Villa pre-match. I just need to wait for Enzo Maresca to make his conference tomorrow, which I'm sure he's going to have a change in attitude and something positive. He's got to manage this situation as well. I know he hasn't been into the fire, and he needs to develop as well, but the pressure's on. The pressure's on, Enzo. Be positive, bring back that fight that we want to see. We want to see that fire from you and from the players. And you guys, you will see my upcoming pre-match video. Those are my thoughts on what's going on, especially on this protest. Again, make your voices heard if you're Chelsea fans that are going to be there. Those that you are online, same thing, but focus. Don't go and start hating on everybody in the club and all the players. We don't need that. They don't need that. We still love our team. We're still supported. Support them no matter what. And Chelsea players, I support you. We are behind you. We love you. We're passionate. We just want you to bring that fire. Having said that, as always, Chelsea fans and Chelsea players, come on, you Blues.